Alright, here's another movie review. And I just saw a little movie called Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Actually saw it last week for early access screening with my fiance. And it was an incredibly okay movie, as the title of the video would suggest. Now, I don't think the movie was horrible. I think it's serviceable. But I don't think it's great, and it doesn't nearly reach the heights of the first Beetlejuice movie. Now, I like the first Beetlejuice movie. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of it. I remember it used to scare me as a little kid. Beetlejuice used to be very scary. And then as you get older, you start laughing at all the dark comedy that's in the movie. And then you realize it is just a dark comedy. And Tim Burton does a great job of balancing the darkness with the light, with his wacky style and whatnot. But I believe the biggest problems with this new Beetlejuice movie is most likely Tim Burton. Nobody's saying no to him. Everyone just be like, oh, he's Tim Burton. He's a legendary director. Let's just do everything he wants to do. But that's the problem with the movie. Tim Burton does whatever he wants to do in this movie, and he's all over the place. And no one's reining him in. There's no focus to the movie. The movie has probably like 6 different subplots going on. A bunch of characters you don't need, you can cut out. You could probably cut out a solid 30 minutes of this movie. The whole ex-wife of Beetlejuice, completely unneeded for the movie. She shows up at the beginning, you see her out a little bit in the middle, and then she ends the movie in the wedding scene. But I feel like there's a very easy way you could have wrote around her character entirely and just cut this movie down a little bit. Focus on just a couple subplots, just like the first Beetlejuice movie. The Beetlejuice was about the couple that dies that has to go to the afterlife and figure out what to do. And then the next subplot is the new family moving into the house and the daughter that can actually see the 2 ghosts that are still there. And then the third plot of the first Beetlejuice movie is Beetlejuice trying to get out of the afterlife. That's it. Those are your 3 pillars of the first Beetlejuice movie. Now this new Beetlejuice movie has several. There's a bunch of shit going on. You got the ex-wife of Beetlejuice coming back, trying to kill him. You have the father of the original family dying. You got the daughter and mother relationship. You got the mother that's about to marry some guy who just wants her for the money. You got the daughter falling in love with another dead ghost that she doesn't realize is a ghost. You got that dead ghost trying to get out of the afterlife just like Beetlejuice was. And then you got Beetlejuice again trying to remarry Winona Ryder again. And then you got the detective who's, trying to track down all these mysterious deaths that are happening in the afterlife, played by Willem Dafoe. And then you got the father of the new family that's dead in the afterlife that they run into in the third act. And it's just, there's just a lot going on in the movie that doesn't need to be happening. And, going back to, the father that's covered in piranhas at the end that you just see in the third act, definitely a rush thing, definitely wasted, because you have no build-up to him throughout the movie. You have the daughter saying, I miss my dad, a couple times, but you never really see any interaction that she had with her father. I don't even know if you see a photo with them. I think you see one photo with them, and she talks about her dad once, and we're supposed to care about this dad, and then you see him in the third act, and he helps them get out of the afterlife, and it just felt so shoehorned in. And that's the problem you get with trying to make so many different things happen in one movie. I almost think that maybe he was writing, Tim Burton and his writing team, maybe they were writing this movie as a limited TV series at first, because that would make more sense. You could spread this out. You could have, episodes focusing on each subplot and each character. I mean, that seems like a limited series would be more fit for this new Beetlejuice movie, because, I really can't get over, walking out of the movie and just thinking, did I just watch 6 different scripts smashed together? You know what I'm saying? And they just took the best parts of 6 spec scripts and they just made a movie out of it. Is that what I just saw? It really was very messy. It was a very messy film, but I still think it's okay. I still say, hey, it's okay. It's an okay film. It's watchable. I felt like it was more lighthearted as opposed to dark. I felt like it was more geared towards families, actually. There's a couple musical numbers in the movie that are way more Broadway-centric and way more colorful and animated and pleasant, I guess, to watch. It doesn't really match, though, a dark comedy. It doesn't really match the gothic nature of these Beetlejuice movies that it should be. And I guess that element was just missing from this new Beetlejuice movie. It definitely was taking me out of the movie. There are elements in the movie that still work. I feel like the whole Bob character with the big dude, the tiny head, I thought that was hilarious. He's become like a new face of the Beetlejuice franchise type character. I think everybody loved Bob, you know, and it really was a great addition to the movie. And of course, Michael Keaton playing Beetlejuice again, he was stellar. It's like he never left the role. Definitely a reason to watch the movie. But there were some moments where like he starts speaking Spanish, it's another person's voice, and it just goes on for too long. And there's a lot of scenes in this movie that just go on for way too long. Like me and my fiance were talking about the last climactic scene in the wedding and how it just kept going. And it felt like the song was like 10 minutes long and it just kept going and going and going. And then we started thinking back to the first movie with the Deo song, and it felt like that sequence only lasted like maybe 2 minutes max, you know? Obviously, these aren't exact numbers. I'm just giving you a ballpark estimate, you know what I'm saying? That's always the most annoying thing in comments, too. People are like, it wasn't 2 minutes, it was 3-minute sequence. It's like, who gives a fuck, dude? Get a life. Anyway, back to what I was saying about sequences that are way too long in the movie. The other musical number in the train area, the Soul Train music number, which it feels like Tim Burton wanted to do that in the first movie, or like he's been holding on to that idea for like 30 years, because it just feels very on the nose with the whole Soul Train song, and they're in the afterlife, and they have to get on a train, a soul train, you know, like it's just so, it's a little too much, you know, Tim Burton, a little too on the nose, and a little too, like, squeaky fun for this movie. You know, I wanted more darkness, I wanted more ambiguous evil, you know, that was in the first movie. Because there are moments in that first movie where Beetlejuice is, you know, scaring the shit out of the people that live in the house. And it's like horrific imagery, like sometimes. And he is trying to marry like a 16-year-old girl in the movie, right? Is she like 14 or 16? She's like around that age in the first movie. And he's trying to marry her, you know, letting us know that Beetlejuice is not a good guy. You know, he is obviously a demon, evil. And I felt like maybe he was missing some of the evil from the first Beetlejuice movie. Like he seemed like a likable good guy in this movie because he's running away from his ex-wife. So Beetlejuice really doesn't do anything bad until like the very end of the movie where he's trying to do the whole wedding thing again and get out of the afterlife, which is just a rehash of the first movie. And you know, after almost 30 years since the last movie, you would think they would think of something better than doing the same exact type of ending again. But you know, I think that's the problem with the movie. Too many yes men for Tim Burton, nobody telling him no. And then you get kind of a jumbled mess with this Beetlejuice. A couple of highlight moments. I do like the song in the wedding sequence at the end. I thought it was a good song choice. I just felt like it went way too long. Like, cut it down a little bit. I kind of like how they cleverly got around the fact that they couldn't get the original dad from the first movie back. So they had him in the afterlife with his head bitten off by a shark. I thought that was kind of clever. It looked a little weird. The costume and makeup, it looked a little odd, but still, I like the idea that they wanted to keep the character, but they couldn't get the actor, so they found like different ways to bring it back, like through claymation or through his head being bitten off by a shark and he can't really talk. I like how they did that. Very clever, Tim Burton, very mindful, not so cutesy. But yeah, but mixed in with the good moments is just a bunch of nonsense. Like the whole bride, ex-wife of Beetlejuice, she's a completely useless character. I think she has like one line in the movie. I could care less about this character. Now, if they had a TV series and more time to flesh it out, could it be good? Of course. But they didn't have enough time in this movie to add this new character that happens to tie into the end of the movie. Same thing with Willem Dafoe's cop characters. Like, there's no time for these characters to be fleshed out. It is very much still a watchable film. It's okay. I might rewatch it someday when I go back and rewatch the first Beetlejuice movie. Because they do a bunch of great homages from the first movie and the second one. Like the whole miniatures of the town and stuff, how they open the movie. You almost can't tell they're miniatures in this new movie. There's some shots where it looks real, so I'm thinking maybe they did use some real shots and then they put some miniature shots and they mixed it in together. I think that's probably what they did. But it looked seamless. And in the first Beetlejuice movie, you could definitely tell it's miniatures. But yeah, when I'm sitting there in a movie and I'm thinking of better ways they could have done the movie I'm watching, that's how I know there's something wrong with the movie. Not just that they could have done something different, but like there's easy ways they could have done it different. You know what I'm saying? Just changing a line or taking out one character that doesn't really affect the movie, you know, could improve the movie. But they just didn't. How I want to feel about the movie. It's been a week since I've seen it. It's okay. It's not nearly to the level of the first Beetlejuice movie. It's not nearly that good. You know what I'm saying? But I guess you get to see Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Anyway, that's it for now. Comment below, let me know your thoughts of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the sequel to the original Beetlejuice. And we'll see you all in the next one. try to keep more of these movie reviews coming. Anyway, that's it for now. Bye-bye.
Beetlejuice!
What the f***?